Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder, to the first video of the new 2.39 patch. And the first video, it will be about the Soviet battlecruiser, the Izmail. And before I talk about the ship, I want to talk about the upcoming videos, because I intend to make a lot of first impressions, because I think that there are so many new things in this patch. Sadly, over the course of the weekend I didn't have enough time to play the amount of games that I need to play to really get back into it, to really get grips on what the new ships bring in contrast to older ships, etc., and in comparison. And later on I also want to make some ship reviews, with the 5-minute guides from Dreknifel being included, with the statistics and the charts and the in-depth review of the armor and so forth, and much more gameplay, just being better edited. But right now I just don't have the footage, I don't have the time, and yet I try my best. Now, one of the big problems is that, first of all, it's the new patch. That's always difficult. Then there is an event going on that's also providing even more Scharnhorsts to the battle than usual, which not a lot of ships have a good time fighting against, right? And the third point is, the battles are just boring. We have come a long way from nowhere to now this negative assumption. But yeah, there are still long queue times. Despite the event, there are a lot of bots despite the event, and so I'm not quite sure what to say about this. Nonetheless, I have a very vocal opinion about this ship, that it is surprisingly mid. Now, again, I'm not saying it's bad, I'm not saying it's the greatest disappointment ever, but sometimes it really feels like the shells that it fires just don't bite, and I'll talk about this in detail. So, the Izmail. First, let's have a look into the tech tree, and we see that it comes after the Imperatrice Maria and before the Kronstadt. It is the fourth 7.0 ship at rank 6 in the tech tree for the Soviets, after the Patritskaya Komuna, the Novorossiysk, and the Kronstadt. It is one of two projects together with the Kronstadt, the Novorossiysk being a former Italian Conte di Cavour class, meaning that out of the 4 Soviet ships that we have right now at rank 6 of 7.0, only one ever really existed and was put into service. Go Russia, go! And another nice thing about this ship is that, well, it's the first time that we see Soviet or Russian 14-inch guns. And they, when you think about how good or how absurd even the 12-inch guns from the Marat, the Poltava, the Imperatrice Maria, Patritskaya Komuna, and so forth were, those 14-inch guns, they really feel mid. First things first, let's talk about the armor. Okay, we have a distributed armor scheme. The thickest part of the main belt is 237mm. That is really battlecruiser-esque. The front part is 125mm. We have deck plating ranging from 36 to 37mm. The inner main deck ranges from 25, 12 to 40mm. We have coal bunkers in the middle that also indicate the presence of a turtleback. How strong and how good the turtleback actually is, I sadly cannot confirm with the given analysis tools. We have then also 247.5mm roll cemented armor barbettes, and the turrets are 305mm all around with 150mm turret deck. And the front of the turret is heavily angled so that you have an effective thickness of over 400mm. So, good news, bad news situation. Then we talk about the speed of the ship. 52 kilometers per hour is really good for a World War One-ish design. So you can play with your speed, you can accelerate, and you can turn. The ship seems somewhat nimble and reacts relatively well to steering input. Then the AA, well, there is some mid AA, I'd say, 875mm cannons, pattern 1892 cannons, and 463mm 38 pattern 1916 cannons. Now, they're not all that great. Then we have from multiple torpedo tubes up to 18 torpedoes, although they are not that exciting, useful, or great, and they're in fixed underwater tubes. And then we come to the secondaries, of which we have plenty of the 130mm 55 pattern 1913 cannon, which fires a decent SAP round with up to 179mm of penetration, 1.67 kilograms of explosive mass. You have 24, so 12 per side, but they are encasement and they will suffer from HE. But when you have them on target on a destroyer cruiser, they actually deal great work. And that brings us to the main guns. So we have a very well-known arrangement of 4 triple turrets. None of them are super firing. So the good thing is they have really good firing arcs, so you can angle a ship heavily. The bad thing is 3 of the 4 turrets are facing backwards to the stern, and you don't have 360 degree turn radii, so you have to rotate them the long way, if you will, if you want to switch side of the engagement. The reload is under 30 seconds with an A screw. To be precise, it is 29.4 seconds. A further insult to all the American players out there with their 40 seconds of heavy suffering. And, well, the shells. Good news, bad news. Good news is your stock round is a 14-inch high explosive pattern 1913, which has a base fuse, so it's more useful already than even the 88 kilograms of a high explosive in the British 13.5-inch high explosive, which has the most TNT in any high explosive shell fired from a battleship. And in this case, it's 75.85 kilograms. So basically 76 kilograms of TNT that have just different penetration capabilities, because you can penetrate up to 307 millimeters at 1 kilometer, and at 10 kilometer 199 millimeters of armor. So versus destroyers, light cruisers, and even heavy cruisers, and a lot of battleships when they're bow in, you can deliver a lot of pain. Also to get a bit deeper into the guts when your AP might not be that great, because this is the surprising part. This shell, the 14-inch AP pattern 1911, which you get as a module at tier 1, isn't really that great. It's not terrible, it's not bad, but I think it's more 6.7 material, right? Mass velocity is relatively slow with 732 meters per second, but you have a high fuse or a high explosive mass of 20.38 kilograms. So that's like the 15-inch shell from the British, right? Fuse delay 0.05 seconds, nothing wrong with that, like with the fuse sensitivity of 26 millimeters. But here's the thing, you have less than 600 millimeters of penetration at 1000 meters, 590 millimeters at 1000 meters, and at 10 kilometers 382 millimeters of penetration. 382. Let's go to the 12-inch shells from the Soviets, and you have 353 at 10 kilometers. If you go to the Kronstadts, super high velocity 12-inch rounds, they have 476 millimeters at 10 kilometers. 476. So that is quite the difference. Um, so almost 100 millimeters more from 2 inches less of caliber. That is quite disturbing. And for the Americans, you know, the USS Tennessee has the wonderful 14-inch Mark 16 APC that has 537 millimeters. Not at 1,000 meters, but at 10 kilometers. So, and then we come to the Japanese with now the awesome Amagi that has the 410 millimeter number 5 APC that penetrates 555 millimeters at 10 kilometers. Just to tell you where you stand with the ship that has not the strongest armor, but a turtleback, not the greatest deck, 12 guns with less than 30 seconds reload, but the penetration is a bit of a problem. And currently in this patch, further problems add to this sort of ship. First of all, I'm not sure what's going on right now with the flooding mechanics, and I'm also not sure what's going on with the SAP rounds versus battleship main barbette armor, because my 130mm SAP, as well as other ships' SAP from secondaries, is apparently able at random to penetrate the heavily protected barbette of main battery turrets of, you know, capital ships, and that just absolutely destroys the experience. That absolutely is frustrating, and I absolutely don't like it. So there are some bugs. The event is going on, a lot of bots, the AP isn't that great, and yet I somewhat like the ship. I really like the secondaries. AA at the moment isn't really that important. I can dish out the pain. I mean, it might grow on me if I have some more rounds with it when, you know, firing, especially the base use a bit more. I will get into it. So in this first impressions, I like the ship somewhat. I like mostly the fact that it's not absurdly, obscenely overpowered or has ridiculous firepower. That now goes to the Amagi. But that it is somewhat fair. I wouldn't be too mad if Gaijin would, you know, decompress naval forces right now, and then you can let it be at 7.0, whereas then you put all the really good battleships or really effective battleships at 7.377, right? Then this can be at 7.0. But in the current meta, you know, it would be best to put it at 6.7 with a battle rating spread reduction from 1.0 to 0.7, so that this thing doesn't see 5.7s, because that would be kind of stupid. And having said this, there will be definitely videos about the USS Tennessee, obviously the SMS Derflinger, obviously. I just want to get a bit better into the patch with that ship, because oh boy, Derflinger rocks. And also I'm waiting for the HMS Barham, if I get a test drive on that, because, you know, it's the ongoing event ship. And then I have the IGN Amagi, which is just absurdly good. I love that ship so much. Yes, it's also a project, but you know, the Soviets have two right now, so give the Japanese a break, although they have a ridiculous amount of 7.0s, right? There is the Haruna, there is the Kongo, now we also have the Mutsu, the IGN Easy, the IGN Hyuga, the IGN Fuso, and now the Amagi. You know, that's quite a lot of ships. I mean, the Amagi, that's probably as good as it gets for a very long time when it comes to raw firepower. But not spoiling too much here. If you're still here, have your digital cookie. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. I tried to pump out more and more and in a quicker time for you in terms of first impressions, and I hope that you don't mind first impressions to then get more into the patch and deliver more accurate ship reviews as you are used to from the past. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this approach, and as usual, please give this video a like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more. It's really important for the algorithm, and I don't want to get punished even more by that. And recommend me to your clanmates, friends, and whoever you want to annoy with links. And as usual, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and we'll see each other on the battlefields, in the skies, and on the waves of War Thunder.